Um, yeah, hi there. Um, I was at, well, I had to roll back like 4 hours a while back. And then I was sort of repeating the steps. I got to a point when I needed to do a 30-day wait because Blackreach Crimson Murder bugged out. So I'm at that point, and then I figured, well, hey, why not just make a little video about what progress Gurzgo Grower Shub has made so far. Well, he lives out of Mistwatch, and I don't have, uh, pardon me, he hasn't gotten too far with Draugr because we pretty well just started. Yeah, that's my thug. Uh, she's up there, and I pretty well just started with the Draugr. Actually, the reason I had to roll back was because I left Olaf alone for the 30 days there, and little did unbeknownst to me, that dead man's respite actually resets after 30 days, or perhaps that was just because I anchored him. I don't actually know, but anyway, it all reset, and there went Olaf and Borkel's key, and then I had to reset. I had to reload. I'm so glad I make many saves. I'll say that much. Anyway, this guy here, the Draugr Overlord, sadly, back when I first started Gurzgo, I never thought to anchor the Draugr. I think he's a White Lord or Overlord, I think as well. I can't remember which he is over at Silver Drift, because that's at least where I go to. It's hard to say. That might be another character. I'll have to check that at another time. Yeah. Oh, well, it says I cleared it. I don't know. I'm kind of scared to go check it out because then that'll bring me to reality. That I did not anchor that Draugr boss down there, which is sad because Gurzgo was, his intent. The whole Gurzgo was conceptualized around the idea of collecting, of getting, the most complete body collection, and being that spot is already cleared out. To be fair, that was something I hadn't thought of at the time. But anyway, with regards to Draugr, at least, I was mainly more concerned of just your average these people, not undead. Say for named vampires like Vigar, which you can't get at level 1. This is a level 1 playthrough. He's only available at level 10 and up. But I was able to get Movarth. Hakeem? That might be how you pronounce his last name. I can't remember. I can't recall which race he is on Gurzgo's, but we'll take a good look around this watch. That's my bandit thug there. She came from Ralbither. That place doesn't reset, so she's the only one of her kind. I don't recall which race she is. She might be Nord. She might be Nord or Imperial. I'm not sure. She looks like Nord. She looks like a Nord. And then we got the Overlord down there. He came from where was I? Um, Forsaken Cave, I think, is where he came from. Yeah, he came from Forsaken Cave. Luckily, the Overlords, you can use Staff of Revenants on them, and if you're not playing patched, like you're playing Old Skyrim, like I am, because I can't stand some of it. I'm not going to get into that anyway. So luckily, the revenants and dread zombies staves don't turn bodies into ash piles after the effect is elapsed, wears off. So that's nice, and it lets you move gut bodies around, particularly when you're just doing little things here and there. You don't need dead thrall all the time, especially at level 1 when you're it takes a whole lot of magicka, and you don't have a lot of magicka at level 1. But eventually you end up getting like down at the Atronach Forge, and then you can work yourself up to the Necromancer. I mean, if you're playing Altmer, you can pretty well get away with using, say, Savos Aran's clothes there. But with I think Vulcan, I'm not sure. I do have an Altmer, and that's another story. Anyway, and then we have our Vagrant here. These guys come out of that spot down in Riften, in the Radways, whatever it's called down there. Oh, that's naughty. I shouldn't have done that. And then, now I'll get this out of the way. There was a time there when I was away from Mistwatch for more than 10 days, or it could have been exactly 10 days. Who bloody well knows? And I actually lost my spell sword and my mercenary, Golden Glow from Golden Glow Estate, and from South Fringe Sanctum, I think it's called. That was the end of my days of playing Skyrim for a couple of years there. When I booted up fairly recently, my last save at Gurzgo was 2015. So that gives you an idea how devastated I was. I completely quit. I quit Skyrim for a while there after I lost these two. To get them back, well, I'm on the computer, so yeah. I used console to bring this guy back. I spawned him down, and I just spawned him back in the lower end of cellar of Golden Glow. Killed him and brought him back. Sadly, I can't have him indoors because he conflicts with maybe it's his ref ID. I don't know. Anyway, if he's dead, if he's deactivated, if he's stored away indoors there, he conflicts with some other bodies there, so I can't have him indoors, sadly. It's not a big deal, but. And then there's the spell sword there. I actually had to make sort of like a Mickey Mouse, a new plugin to plant new spell swords into South Fringe, because if you spawn a spell sword afterwards, I don't know what it's like if you have the game patched, but she'll just turn into a necromancer, and that's no good. That's no good. You have to have a spell sword if you're going to have a spell sword. And this is of course, the stronger variant. She has a decent spell pool. Spellbook, pardon me. And, well, as far as that's concerned, reanimate, I don't know which tier it is. And then she can also cast Lightning Bolt a couple times, and that's sick. That's super sick. I don't recall if she can dual cast. I'm not going to get into that because I'm going to save that for another video, because I just wanted to make a little video about Gurzgo's bodies. Let's not forget that one of Gurzgo's greatest regrets is having not talked to Farelda, leaving all of these guys alive. We really wish that all the Mistwatch bandits were still alive. I'm on the fence with Farelda herself, but anyway, putting that aside, that would be the second greatest regret. Well, I don't know. Maybe a third regret because of the silver drift. What you might call it place there that I didn't anchor. Well, I may have. We'll find out eventually once I summon the courage. Anyway, so we'll take a look inside now. I will state that those are the two. Those are the only two times like as far as across all of my characters, my 26, 32, 34, and 40, and even my other one there, my alternate. That's the only time I've ever used, uh, that what you might consider cheating or whatever. Doing something that you can't necessarily do in the game. Like the base game, I don't know how you describe it. Anyway, we have our dead scholar over here. He came out of Ingol. And we have. I was actually contemplating using the ritual stone to get everybody up and lively. And then we'll get a good look at them when they're all awake and moaning and doing their thing. So we got a master vampire. This was basically to replace maybe we'll just wait till they're done. We'll only talk. I'll try to be polite. Okay, that's not gonna work. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk over them. So anyway, we got our master vampire. I'm not sure where he went. Oh, did he just did he up and disappear? I bet you that's an issue, isn't it? Might have to reload. Master vampire. Oh, I just didn't see him. Okay. My other. Oh, the third Thrall disappeared. Did he really? This is very peculiar. I'm sort of getting I have to apologize. I'm getting rather distracted here. This was supposed to be a simple task. It's probably just because there are so many bodies that they all get displaced and moved around, right? Yeah, because Melon Baron's over there. I don't know. Anyway, we'll just come in before all of that takes place. You may have noticed there, it's over 10,000 saves now. You save a lot when you collect bodies because you're constantly going back and forth, and I don't know how anybody else plays, but if you lose a body, you have to go back and you just do this and that, and then lots of saving to make sure that you have them properly anchored and all that. But anyway, so we got Master Vampire. This guy came out of Bloodlet Throne. He's basically Vigar's replacement because you can't get him until level 10. We got the 3 Thralls from Azura's Star. I haven't picked up the one from Shalador's Maze. Sadly, the Thrall over there, Shalador's Maze, doesn't actually learn to conjure a Flame Atronach until he's I think it's Kenreave. I could be wrong. I'll have to look at my notes to be sure about that. I don't remember. So don't quote me on that. And then we got Vigilant Tyrannus. We all know where he came from. The Caller. The Caller, I'll have to talk about her in another video. Because to get her proper, like her actual powerful form, you need to do a bit of grunt work. you have to do some extra stuff. It's not as simple as killing her, because as soon as you revive her, at least I don't know if it's patched now. Uh, if you go and revive her now, just after killing her, she'll be like incredibly weak. She'll cast sparks, and she won't know dual cast. She won't know adept level. I think it's adept when you get ice spike, or is that apprentice? I don't remember. Anyway, and then we got Anise. I'll talk about Anise in another video. Malin Varen, of course, he's from over there. Nuria, I ended up getting Nuria. Me and Gurzgo agreed to get Nuria because of the expert roads of destruction, which is, you know, the best level. You can't get 125% at level 1. So that was essential. Hamelin, of course. Arania, or sorry, I always mispronounce her name. Aranea, there we go. What's that? Yenith? Sadly, I chose to get the. I wasn't really thinking, and I know I was kicking myself after I'd done it, but this was like years ago, and then it came back to me when I came to go try and see, because I left a lot of quests open to keep quite a few of these bodies awake, or awake permanent. You know, usually when you complete a quest like Atar, for instance, he'll stop being permanent. Aranea here. I don't know if she's any stronger if you end up having her as your follower. It's kind of on the same wavelength as Ilya, where she'll be level locked. I'm pretty sure Ilya remains. Again, this is, sorry, I don't know about what, and this will be the last time I say it. I don't know what's going on with patched Skyrim, because I don't play patched Skyrim. I play the original Skyrim. Okay, so this stuff doesn't apply, and you'll have to figure it out for yourself, because you'll never find out from me. All right, this is anyway. So, like Ilya, I'm not sure about what she's like with, and I'll figure that out eventually. Like with Ilya, she becomes level locked, and then I'm pretty sure even if she's your follower, she doesn't even level up with you. I mean, she's incredibly buggy. But anyway, we got Lua, Skaven there. We got Mavarth, and Mavarth, he looks sort of like Breton, maybe. Could be a Breton. I don't know. He looks Breton. And then we got an Arendelle over here. He was a fun guy. Madnak. Madnak is he and his gang are kind of peculiar in that if you go and wait, you have to do the Forsworn conspiracy in a particular way to not have broken Madnock. And Kai, I don't know how to pronounce her name, and Bragg and Oration and all those guys, because you'll get some ways away from, what is it, Bruca's Leap? No, I don't remember the name of the place. You'll get some way away from this place over here that they come from, Druidach, Redoubt, or something like that, and they'll just turn and run back there, and it's a pain in the ass. You have to do the quest in a certain way so that they have a functioning AI. I don't actually, like, I have notes on it. I'll have to do that in another video. Then we got Bashnag over here. Bashnag is a pretty cool guy. He doesn't. He technically is. Oh no, he does need an Agria. There were three, I believe, three guys I know that need that have a 30-day There's sort of terminology that I use. I don't recall if any of the necromancers that I used to talk to, like we used to all hang out, right? But it's been years, and I haven't talked to any of those guys in that much time. So I don't recall if they had their own terminology, but anyway, I called it SFR when they're scripted for removal. These guys, Hadjar, Iron Hand, and Rigel, Strong Arm, they go on 30-day timers, scripts, whatever. And then we have Necromancer. I grabbed all the Necromancers. I believe that's all of them from Potema down there in the catacombs. Geez, Ritual Master is a lot of fun. I'll tell you that much. You have to really beef her up with a good weapon, but she's just fun. I don't know. Like, there's just something about her. And of course, you'll have to be particular with some of these generic NPCs because you'll have the stronger and the weaker variants. Like, I believe it's this guy over here. She's, I don't know what, she might be Breton. I think she's Breton. And she's level 6. At least 3 others that I have that I picked up are level 1. And I don't recall which spawn location she comes from. But you'll just have to feel around, find the one that works for you. And then over here we got our afflicted. Afflicted are incredibly fun to play with. He'll vomit, of course, and he looks really cool. You can dress them. You can stylize these guys almost using any clothing article in the game. It's wonderful. I believe the only things that they don't spawn are like fine clothes and noble robes and those the finer things, right? But you can dress them however you like. I have on Farelda my 40. She has two afflicted. One of them, it took about, I don't know, it took like 3 hours or so, but I eventually got her afflicted. I don't recall their races, but the one in Full Dwemer, she's level 40, of course, and the other one, I dressed him up in, I don't know, they'll get him light Imperial shields as well. They're a lot of fun, and they spew. They spew. They spew. It's a lot of fun. You'll get finished with a place, and you'll turn back, and there'll be green all over the place. And we got Keeper Carset. Keeper Carset. She's fantastic. At least at level 1. I think she levels up to 30. But at level 1, she's 15, and boy, is she's a wrecker. She'll cut and slice and dice and terribly fun. Low life, I've never played with him. I don't know him. He's a low life. And then we got Kenyaker over here. Kenyaker is he actually retains some of his voice clips. He'll say things like. I can't remember any of them. It's been so long, but he'll say things like "dinner's ready," "it's time to eat." I'm making this stuff up. You'll have to play with him yourself. He's a lot of fun. We got Linway. Sadly, the summer whatever it's called, Somerset Shadow people really bug out. They probably patched it. They really bug out the Uttering Hills. That was something that I had to technically use a console on to clear that quest. Kill a bandit, whatever leader from Uttering Hills, because this guy had already been killed, and I couldn't deal with the Riften bounty, or was it Windhelm? I can't. Yeah, Windhelm. And so I couldn't go and talk to Ottar, which was driving me mad because I'm not sure if I'm going to end up killing Ottar, but I wanted at the very least to be able to clear his quest. Pavel has been instrumental, absolutely instrumental in helping me. You could say he's facilitated my every aspect of Gurzgo's collection here. As you may see in one or more of these corpses, you see, I'm not 100% sure if you really call them corpses at this point. If you're maintaining them, they're more like just plain bodies, aren't they? Isn't a corpse something that's some deer hit by a truck or something, and that's a corpse. I don't know. Well, I mean, you call that roadkill, but anyway, or that's another word for it. So we got Pavel over here, and when you dead thrall a person that really likes you, I help this guy out, and in death he helps me so much by delivering to me. I don't know if you get the gold, but you get a letter of inheritance every time they die, and each single one is an anchor. So anchors into infinity. You can use bounties and all that too. Um, Back when I was hanging out with my necromancer buddies there, they what are their names? I don't know. I think they'd prefer to remain unnamed at this point. Maybe they'll come by and say hi one of these days. But there may be issues with some bounty letters or other. You can get the letters from a friend and all that as well. You just have to be careful with the letters of inheritance because you can't let them stack. At least I ran into issues if there were more than two stacked on top of each other. I'm not 100% certain. I never got down to the bottom of it, even back before, back in 2015. I never really got to the bottom of it. But anyway, it's best to just have say 10 friendly people, and then just kill them. Kill them once. Go and then you travel to a walled city where you have to actually spawn yourself outside the city, and then go in, and then a courier will deliver all the letters to you. As long as basically that's the rule of thumb. Just don't have so many that they stack, and then they'll all be anchors. Arangoth is a surprising. He's a really nice. He's a really nice archer, as it turns out. I think it was 40. I think his archery is 30. I can't even guess. I wrote it down, but I'm not going to take the time to look at my notes. Use him as an archer. He's nice. I don't know what his health is. His health might be pretty low. That's the only thing, and he doesn't have armor. But hey, he's got some nice clothes. Fine boots. He's a high roller. And then we got Borvir. Borvir, you have to be really careful about Borvir, because if you go near Journeyman's Nuke, he's SFR. He'll take off, and there goes your anchor as well. So don't go near Journeyman's Nuke. Oh yeah, and of course you can't forget that if you don't take his dagger the first time you see him, unless he's anchored, and as long as you don't leave him alone for 10 days, he'll be swept up. With an anchor, that is 2 days if you don't anchor, like every other body in the game. Krister, besides those guys that are permanent, etc. exceptions galore. We got Krister, we got Barkeep. Krister, I was thinking about moving him upstairs because he's in love with Fiola, and but then the other part of me kind of wants him not to be next to her because, like, she basically found him to be aggravating. She wanted to let go of the old life that she had. She didn't really do it in a great way, but you know, I don't know what to do about Krister. He's. I just keep him down here with the various more or less civilian types down here in this section. We got Gadnor. Gadnor's a cool guy. I've never played with him, but you get that cool staff, and that's cool. We got Lucky Lorenz. Lucky, he's really lucky. Telrav. Telrav. I was under the impression for so long that he was a notable archer, but as it turns out, at least at level 1, he's pretty pathetic in every way, shape, and form. That's all the guys down here. And then we got an East Empire Warden. I believe he could be a she. I don't remember. Is that a she? I can't tell. Anyway, these guys you have to be a bit careful with because the EETC will, at least entering it, will just their SFR. You have to go in through Brinewater. I think it's called Brinewater Grotto. You have to go through that entrance. If you go in through the front, they're SFR. Then we got Yegro Gortwog. Gortwog. She's nice. Kai K. She's nice. Corsair, of course. Jadar. I love Jadar. Jadar. I have to get Jadar on every character because Jadar is so much bloody fun. You give him the Poacher's Axe because you can actually repair it or improve it. And he just goes ham. You give him at least what I do with Farelda. I'm pretty sure she's traveling with Jadar, and she was playing with the champ at the same time for a while. I don't know what she's doing right now. I haven't played her for a while. She suited up. She gave Jadar an improved Poacher's Axe and a Shiv, and it's terrifying. It's actually terrifying watching him run into combat. I'm pretty sure Jadar only levels up to 25. I don't recall if he's Radiant. I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah, he is. He'll level up to 25, and even Farelda's level 40, and Jadar is still a whole lot of fun with her. You just have to give. Sorry, I don't want to burn your tail off. Get out the water. Yeah, you need to give him something, some health, some health absorption there. And then I neglected to mention the Kenyaker down there. Kenyaker and Ritual Master, Afflicted, and I'm not 100%. Well, there is a little bug that you can kind of have fun with on Unpatched Skyrim that I told you I was going to say that just once more back then. Anyway, there's a little bug that you can do that gives them, vampires at least, health regeneration, like insane health regen. It's really cool. Doesn't function inside cities, but if you're out running around, they'll just regenerate like nothing. But as I was saying, Ritual Master, Kenyaker and Afflicted, they regen health like mad. Well, Kenyaker, I think, is the slowest of them all. Ritual Master is a bit faster, and I can't recall I can't, I can't recall exactly, but it's really handy. I mean, you give them health absorption anyway, especially if you're playing in the higher levels, because you can enthrall them all of those guys way beyond 40, because Kenyaker is maybe 20 or something like that. I don't know. Ritual, I'm not even gonna guess. I'm pretty sure she's a Radiant, and uh, yeah, don't quote me on that. I'm pretty foggy with many of these details. I'm currently putting together a whole lot of notes so I can put it all down and everything. Anyway, we got Umana down here. Umana is pretty slick, at least when you're playing level 1. Having steel plate is insane. Having steel plate is insane at level 1. So Umana is a must-have to complete the set. As far as a helmet, I was able to procure a plate helmet on my Altmer, level 1. His name, see, partially the reason I don't like to talk about him is because I named him Altimer or Altimer, kind of as a joke. I rather regret that. I feel like he lacks that sort of person. He lacks identity. That's just not something I am very proud of when it comes to my. I maybe you wouldn't say I fully embrace role playing, but I like to, dig in some amount and immerse myself in that way. But anyway, Salma over here, Salma. Um, oh wow, look at that, eh? That's a nice axe. Salma, you can't. She, like you'll notice, she is permanent. However, as soon as you kill Beamjo, she's SFR. So don't kill Beamjo. Keep Salma. Beamjo is quite strong once once he gets up there. But at level 1, he doesn't know anything. He only knows healing. And then of course I had to destroy the Dark Brotherhood here. Astrid. It took a long time for me to kill these guys because at least you know when you're level 1, lots of enemies kill you really fast. And Astrid had the Blade of Woe, so that was she just decimated me for so bloody long. I ended up, I think I it's not so much that I regret it because it's like I had any other choice, but I basically had to, use the Staff of Paralysis and just constantly paralyze her. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I did. I may have used poisons. Anyway, Arnbjorn, none of these guys have really magnificent stats. The Zara has a decent amount of health, but that's about it. Yeah, he has high sneak as well. I think it's 29 sneak or something. We got our farmer servant over here. Again, you got to get the stronger version, the stronger variant. This guy's level 5. He's either level 5 or level 6. I don't recall. And he's a Khajiit, so that's a plus. You may have noticed I had him on his tum there. The reason for that is, at least in Vlindrel Hall, where Farelda stores most of her bodies, Khajiit and Argonian, they're Anargonians, their tails get stuck in the ground, and at least with Beamja, he ended up disappearing at one point. I had to roll back. Uh, well, it wasn't that much, but I had to roll back about an hour or so. Thankfully, I noticed quite soon, and as quite quickly after it happened, and so I was able to get him back no problem without losing too much progress. But I sort of make a habit of putting them on their face down rather than face up, because there's nothing worse. I mean, there's a neat effect if I go load up Farelda, when you go to reanimate them when their tail's stuck in the ground, they kind of look like they're um, not falling, or well, I guess you could imagine it if as if they're falling, but like their legs go up in the air. They kind of look like they're, I don't know, some dumb animal that's fallen over dead with its feet sticking up in the air. I don't know, something like that. I thought of a neat analogy or simile back when I first noticed that happening, but sadly I'm not at the top of my game with that memory. So Hunan over here, these guys are Hunan and Draw for permanent, so you don't have to worry about anything happening to them. With Gian, of course, Gian, you have to make sure that you anchor him, because as soon as you kill him, he's on that 2-day timer. And the the nice thing about the rat way, at least, is you don't have to worry about. Well, they call it grave robbing. Uh, I'll have to. I'm actually sort of unimpressed with myself, because I never really took to heart the guys there that discovered grave robbing. But anyway, um, keep in mind, and I don't know how far they got with it uh, with particular NPCs, wherein you'd have to actually adapt like um, the guide for the set way for grave robbing, like Legate Rikke. Like, you have to avoid Whiterun essentially, because as soon as if you go to Whiterun, she goes straight to her coffin, right? So they're I call them adaptive GRs. Anyway, another name that is particularly difficult is Ancano, because he has two. There are two scripts you have to get by with him. I was able to get him on Tajiin, my 26th, or sorry, he's 26, and he that was an incredibly proud moment to discover. I'll have to do that for another video. I'm actually planning to do it with Gurzgo. I'm going to get past the, get to the end of the college, and basically just record how to get Ancano and then put that up. Anyway, and then we have Gunzel. Gunzel is he's permanent until you go and complete pieces of the past. And since you can't complete pieces of the past at level 1, well, he's forever permanent. Don't have to worry about an anchor for him. We've got Hajvar over here. He's in some just that nice standard issue, standard quality. Like, there's nothing wrong with iron armor. It's sturdy. But, some guys, they particularly like that banded armor. I'm not 100% sure if it's possible to get Hajvar in banded at level 1. He himself is level 6, and then he'll get up to 25 like many other, he's based off a bandit chief, so same with Rigel. Rigel is right there. Her and Hajvar are like identical, basically. I'm not sure what is. I'm like I said, I'm working through it. I don't know. at, at this time, at the time of making this video, if their stats begin to diverge at later levels. I'm sure that they do, but that's up in the air. We got our bandit chief over here. I don't actually recall where I got this bandit chief from. Sadly, I never wrote down the locations of some of these NPCs with Gurzgo. Gurzgo doesn't know how to write, and he only recently picked up reading, so that's sort of. I mean, what else do you do if you don't know how to write? Then anyway, we got Atar. Atar is of course permanent until you finish that. I think it's called hiring hired muscle or something like that. Sarthus Edrin. Him and Orini, I think it's Orini. 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 He and Sarthus over there. They are. I'll actually have to indulge myself here. Forgive me for indulging myself. He and Sarthus make. Oopsie. They both make some really. That's Butcher. Sorry to do that to my thug. Okay, so we got Sarthus over here. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know. If you can't hear it, I'm not going to bother turning up the effects. But go through Riften warehouse there, and you don't even have to kill Sarthus. You'll hear what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Sarthus is actually quite a bit weaker than a bandit chief. Well, not quite a bit. He's a little bit, and that isn't so bad. But if you're looking for power, and power leads you to warm and to riches and wealth and all that wonderful stuff, then just avoid them altogether. Yeah, we'll just leave him. Yeah, we'll keep him around. He's a cool guy. I don't much approve of his practices, but you got to live a life. You got to live your life. You got to find a way to live. Veloxane over here, he dual wields Janasa, one of the guys at the top of my list for Gurzgo is I don't know how else to call him because he's just generically titled Thalmor Soldier, but he is the one I'm speaking of. He's special. He dual wields as well. You meet him over by that shrine. I think it's a Shrine of Talos. Yeah, Shrine of Talos. And you'll have to forgive me because I don't recall how you actually go about having him in I think it's a wizard spawn or assassin. I don't know. I only paid attention to him, so I think it's a wizard that spawns next to him. And I believe you have to. I believe you have to be. It might not go through if you're beyond diplomatic immunity. I don't know. But you also have to place. I'm pretty sure you also. That may have been the way that I ended up running into him because I saw it on a stream. A guy went and placed the whatever it is, horn. I think it's a horn, or whichever the lady there, the lady down there in Solitude gets you to place at the shrine, and then the Falmer soldier and wizard were down there. Yeah, Sarth, I might have to play with Sarthis for a while because he's pretty fun. And then over here we have Staleo's bodyguard. The male guy there is he's pretty damn weak. Staleo is all right once he levels up a couple times. He's of course radiant, and at least at level 1, I believe he knows like Fireball, not Fireball, Firebolt, and that's about it. On the other hand, we have the female variant. She, at least at level 1, she's 6, and she's literally a bandit chief, and that's sick. She's awesome. We have Wendelius Catharian. He's cool. He'll turn invisible, and he uses all the elements as well. He'll use shock. He'll go in between them. He's similar to Anska, where except I believe he's a little bit more. I believe Wendelius, because it's been ages since I last played with him. Maybe I should start saying walked alongside. Had been accompanied by something of that nature. Anyway, I believe he switches up between the elements quite frequently, whereas Anska, she'll stick with. She's of the time that I've spent with Anska, she'll stick with fire for a while and then eventually use lightning, that kind of thing. We already talked about Gian. And then at least for people, yeah, I hear you. At least for guys that are decked out in Imperial, which is incredibly rare when you, at least for Farelda, for instance, she completed, and I'll admit we both feel quite strongly that Farelda should have foregone the Civil War, because you lose quite a few bodies if you go about it that way. Like Brandish, for instance. Brandish is actually a pretty fun guy to hang out with. Once he gets, I believe he's Frost. He'll use Frost magic, and he'll get a cloak in there, and that's it fills your heart with happiness. You feel pride in your thrall when they cast things like cloaks and or summons, that kind of stuff. These guys are incredibly weak, both the Imperial soldiers and the Imperial captain. Yeah, and you better believe it. These these guys came from the first encounters. It was a bit of a stretch to get the anchors. You get a bounty mission. You get the Thalmor orders out of that guy down there. I think it's a Talos shrine down there too, right by the exit of whatever that place is called by Helgen when you first start. And for whatever reason, Craig's journal and Strong's journal got duplicated. I don't know how, but anyway, they did. Maybe there were two of them to begin with. I don't know. Anyway, I never wrote down what happened. And yeah, so as I was saying, these three guys here, are they're incredibly weak. They have fives all around, and 50 health, 50 like all 50s, and then five one-handed, two-handed, top to bottom. Um, they even have five. They didn't even give them the base 15 enchanting. Like that's really sad. They could at least have given them some level of affinity. I don't know. Anyway, then we have some level of affinity to anything. So Sulla Trebatius here, he and Umana over here are both, they're really strong. Sulla is 10. Sulla is 10, I think, and Umana is 10 as well. They're Sulla. He'll cast Fireball. I don't actually recall if he does it at level 10. I'm pretty sure he does. It's just that his mana pool is pretty darn small. But yeah, they're both pretty fun. As far out of all the... Oh, wait, sorry. Excuse me for a second here. We got the two Mistwalk Bandits that I kept. And like I said, I rather wish I'd talked to Farelda as quickly as possible rather than killing them all. But, you sort of live with your... Save for the Spell Sword and Mercy. I couldn't live with that. So they had to come back. But, things like this, you learn from your mistakes. I'm currently working on Lord Grover Shove, which is Gurzgo's younger brother, and is we're sort of up in he's sort of on he when you live in the shadow of your brother, you sort of feel like you want to be them. You sort of want to be yourself. Lurg's, at that stage of development. Oreni, we already talked about Oreni. Oreni. Let's get the emphasis correct there. And yeah, so that's really about it for. I guess I could talk about Enman. Well, Enman's pretty straightforward. You go try to get the Sibylla de Bella, and I don't remember how you get the quest. I think you have to go to the. I think that you go to the whatever Debella place there up in Markarth temple, and then you end up having to get the new. And he ends up traveling with you. He doesn't have any health regen, and Enman himself will. He's particularly aggressive, so he's always first in, first out, or first dead, depending on who you're up against. Who cares about Aneke? And Mercer. We picked up Mercer quite recently. Like I was saying, I had to roll back a couple hours there. I mean, I was really glad I didn't have to revert to a 9-hour rollback. Well, a 9 hour. I was like, 9 hours to redo 9 hours. I wasn't looking forward to that because, like I was saying, I wasn't paying attention to Olaf. You leave him alone for 30 days and then he's gone. So don't do that. If you want to get Olaf, which I'm planning on doing, we want to get Olaf. We want to get the guy over down the Highgate Ruins. There's a White Lord down there. I'm grabbing. In those 4 hours, I was making my way with the Charis Reaper. We got to about here. That was about here. And then I just parked him, or I guess it would be a her. I parked her down by the hunters. There's a little hunter camp there. And there were four other Charis that managed to tag along because you have to use the ritual stone. And, hunters and chars all hanging out in the same place. So it had some level of that was actually rather amusing. Um, so we'll get those two guys, the Reaper. I want to get Gurzgo. We want to get all the nice we want to get a nice collection going. Like it makes no sense to go save for the guy down there at Silver Drift. That's really depressing. But maybe and funnily enough, Lurd completely forgot about him too. So so I might end up actually restarting Lurd. It's hard to say. Ingle. Oh yeah, I'm in the. Ingle is actually just sitting outside his shade. He spawns as a shade at this level. I don't know what level he spawns as a proper, or if he does at all. I don't remember. He's just sitting out the side there. And what about giants? I don't give a shit about giants. I'm actually, if it were possible to get, I think his name is Shagroll, because it says hammer that you grab for Yamar's. I really wish I could get Yamar's, but he's essential at this level, and that's where you get Orcish, at least if you want to get armor fairly quickly, fairly easily, you just jump over the cliff there. He's essential until you actually go do the mission. I think it's at 10. I think it's at 10 or 5 that you end up working with Malakath there. Then, yeah, well, they're. Oh, yeah. What about Jarek? Jarek is he's sitting pretty down there at Sarthal. I did a lot of running away when I was fighting him, so I was actually quite surprised when I got to him, because I was thinking I didn't anchor him. Mind you, it was 3 years ago. So, but then I load up the game, and quite a bit of playing later, end up going through Sarthal thinking, oh well, shucks, I didn't anchor, because I was really getting in the groove with wanting to get. A nice body collection going. And the Jarek was, nowhere to be found. And I was thinking, oh, geez, well, there goes Jarek. There goes my plans for a cool guy that's sometimes sometimes has a stormy cloak thing around him, or sometimes disappears into nothingness. Like, what body collection is complete without that kind of NPC, that kind of guy? Who else? Jarek and that. Well, the brothers. I've only killed Jarek. I don't have any of the other Galder amulets, and I don't recall where you actually kill the other guys. I'm actually in the midst of. Like I was saying, working on Ancano. I wanted to get Ancano. And if I'm getting Ancano, I'm pretty sure it was Estormo you can't get. You can't get Estormo if you keep Ancano. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't recall. Or maybe you can get them both. I don't remember the time. I don't remember the order of events with the college there. We're in quite a few saves ago, I had already gotten Paratus, and he's pretty cool. He summons a flame atronach, but it's pretty particular with some guys here, because their AI, they know when they're indoors, they know when they're outdoors. Paratus, for instance, he won't, at least from when I've had him accompany me, he won't summon his flame atronach unless you're out in the open. If you're indoors, he doesn't unless you're the one unless you're the aggressor. At least that seems to be the formula. The collar, I was going to talk about the collar and all that in another video. I'm kind of see, the trouble is, like, I know how I got the full version of the collar, but I tried to get her. I tried to do it again. Well, there was just some quirkiness. Yeah, I'll talk about her in another video. I'll leave you all in suspense, whoever ends up watching this. Yeah. Yeah. So I was in the. I'm like the top of the list here. Okay, is we're gonna get the Reaper. We're gonna get Olaf, the White Lord. We're gonna get those guys that I was talking about, and then of course, since we're pretty well at the point where we're getting Paratus, I was just sort of feeling like I wanted to. I don't know. You just kind of you feel like doing something a certain way, and that's the way you do it. So at least pretty soon here, I'll be picking up Paratus. I know I was talking about Anska, and I've actually left her. I left Anska actually down at the lighthouse, the Frostflow lighthouse. I left her there because, I was going to be back. Because, see, this is what I did last time, is if you don't actually take care of the Reaper, if you don't actually, kill the Reaper, Frostflow will reset. And I wanted to double up on the Charis eggs. I wanted to double up. You get something like 300 or so out of there. And, well, why not get 600? And that's one of the things that I wanted to do with Kashi. She's the daughter of Riddle, the Legend Breaker, and he's a deadbeat, right? But Kashi, she's training hard, and she's already achieved max unarmed damage. Well, apart from wanting to cast her own shadow, she still was much taken by, very, very much taken by, a boxer's life. And when you learn from, when you grow up beside a guy like the Legend, you can't help but feel inspired, I suppose. That's just the way families work. Typically the offspring, the next generation will take off after their parents in some way or another. So she's sort of in the process of clearing out Honing Brew every time it resets. We hope to eventually have something like 5,000 Honing Brew. That'd be quite the day. But anyway, I think I'm going to end the video. I've pretty well talked about everybody for Gurzgo, and we're gonna get the Shalador's Maze Dremora, of course. Besides that, it's tempting to get Kesh wherever he is. He's over here somewhere. It's tempting to get Kesh. We'll have to think about it for a while. Yeah. Well, besides that, it's just stuff I have to think about. And, rather than thinking about it, having you all waiting for my next word, I'll just end the video and see you on the next one.